So happy New Year. My name is Michael Demond with WeMerge Media, and today is Tech Talk Tuesday. I am trying this Tech Talk Tuesday out at a later time because I know a lot of you are working your businesses and your day jobs or your businesses and your day jobs during the day. So we wanted to try a later time to see if more people can join in the conversation by doing it later in the day. So let me know if this time works for you. Go ahead and hit the like button, hit that share button. Let me know if this is a good time and you want to continue at this later time, or if you want to do the earlier time, just type earlier in the comments and that'll let me know. So today, topic is going to be Tech Talk for Tech Talk Tuesday is Facebook groups. But first, I know we have quite a few new people. Our subscribers has been building. We have people who are new to the show. So I just wanted to give a little background information about what the show is about. I originally started this to have a way to be able to share information with entrepreneurs to help them understand marketing technology, social media, email marketing. There's so much that business owners are being pulled to do where it can become overwhelming and then you end up doing nothing. So I originally created this show to just walk people through tutorials and explain how some of this stuff works, give some guidelines, have some conversations about things that I hear from my clients as questions, but then also just to talk a little bit about things that you might want help with and things that I can assist you with. So that's basically the history of Tech Talk Tuesday for us to have those conversations. The conversations are new every week. Sometimes they come up just from consultations I've had with clients or just things that I'm dealing with my own business that I bring to the table. So today specifically, we're going to talk about Facebook groups. If it's a yay or a nay for you, I'm going to share my journey with you with Facebook groups and how I feel about it. And we'll just kind of go from there. So I know that Facebook overall, there's a love and hate relationship with it. People seem to fall on one side of the fence or the other. And I totally understand, regardless of where you sit, why you sit where you are. Like I totally get it and I totally understand. But for business owners, it's still one of the most populated places in order for us to be able to get seen by other people. People who love Facebook like the fact that they can connect with other people, will share interests that they have. People who hate Facebook have a lot of different reasons. One being all the stuff that's in the news about our data being not used in the best way, how distracting it can be. And honestly, I kind of fall like in that latter part. Like I've been towards that part where I'm kind of undecided. I understand what the reach potential is of Facebook. I understand that there are billions of people there, but I oftentimes fall on the fence about how much time I want to spend on there. I typically don't like the fact that, when I come into that space, there's so much going on. There's the feed, there's notifications, there's messages. There's so much stuff coming at you at one point. You end up, next thing you know, down this endless scroll of scrolling through stuff that was not on your plan to do. So, like I totally get both sides of it. Now, recently, I'm launching a new challenge called a video podcast challenge where I want to help 100 people this year start a video podcast. And I'll explain to you why. So I know that a lot of people right now are chasing trends, want to do the Instagram reels and all that stuff. And that's cool. Gets you seen, it gets you visibility, allows you to be able to show a fun side. But one of the things that I don't see a lot of people doing is making more long form content. The reason why I like long form content is because that is going to stick around for a much longer time when you're producing that type of content on a channel like YouTube or even on Facebook. So, regardless of when somebody might come across that content, they still have that opportunity to get to know you, get to learn something from you, and decide if you're someone who can help them and whatever it is that you do, that you might be able to help them and add some value to their life. What I don't like about on the TikToks and on Instagram is like all that stuff typically is short lived. The stories are what happens in the first 24 hours. Your reels, might have some traction for a couple hours and then people move on to the next thing. So with that challenge that I'm launching, I'm trying to get more people to think about creating their own series similar to Tech Talk Tuesday, where every week you commit to doing a video, whether it be live or recorded, and creating some content that's going to help you build value with an audience. Now, in doing that, I was creating my sales funnel process and thinking about, when people come across the challenge, how I want them to enroll. And one of the things that I realized is that Facebook is been around for so long. We've been using it for so long that we understand how it works. I went outside of Facebook and purchased some software so I can build a group of my own and have all those Facebook functionality. But honestly, it's been very difficult to get people to come from Facebook over to that other platform, just because people aren't used to the navigation, they're not used to the tools. So I'm figuring out like, okay, you have all these people who I know would be interested in this content that I'm providing, and it's in a place that I have to teach them how to get onto it, how to use it. As opposed to Facebook, people are already there. They know how to jump in and out of groups. They know how to navigate through the pages. So I'm like, unfortunately, I can't just simply cut it off. I have to figure out how do I get people to go from phase A to phase C. So that brings me to the conversation as to, Facebook groups for 2022, yay or nay. I'm going to talk about why I decided to do a Facebook group and really stick to it this time, because I've created them before and I've abandoned them because I just didn't like the experience. But now I have a new perspective about how I'm going to use the Facebook group and where it's going to fit into my social media sales funnel process. So let me talk to you a little bit about that. I will share this one screen with you so that you have a visual. Here we go. Oops, let me bring that back. So that you have a visual about kind of where I'm seeing this. So typically when you're putting content out there, and let's talk about this sales funnel process part, you're going to have ads, you're going to have social media posts, you might have emails that you're sending out and that you're kind of promoting whatever it is that you have to offer. And at some point, you want people to take an action, which is going to be to sign up or enroll in whatever it is that you're offering. So I have that process set up when I have an ad running, or if I have a Facebook post that's promoting my video podcast challenge. People have to go into their email address and some information that I need in order to send them the rest of the information. They go through that. But the next step, now this is where the Facebook group comes in, is I give people a choice. On my landing page, which I'll actually pull up for you, but on my landing page, after they subscribe, I give them an option of learning more about my coaching packages. I give them the option of downloading a guide that's going to give them a little bit more information about why they should start a video podcast. But then I also give them the option to join my Facebook group that's associated with this challenge. And here's where I'm like, that's strategic. That makes sense. Here's where the Facebook group comes in. So after someone goes through the lead form and, they get into my email system, I then give them the option to kind of choose which route they want to go from there. You might have people who are at different phases of their decision-making process, and you want to make sure that you give them options to be able to decide how they want to go. I know typically people have funnels and they just kind of one way and either you go all the way or you don't, but I understand people being at different phases of that decision-making process. So the way that I'm using the Facebook group in 2022 is by giving people the option to come inside that group. Now, inside that group, I have some educational information. There's no commitment, there's no cost. They know how to navigate, they know what a group works, how it works. People can come inside of that group and they can read more information about the challenge. But I also have some of the general information about my video podcast challenge. So within there, I have information about how to choose your lighting, about what you need in order to get started when it comes to software and all that good stuff. I have some tips in there about how to add graphics to your broadcast. So I have all this stuff in here that people can read and spend more time with so that they can get familiar with that. I also add some tips. I'll be doing some exclusive lives within there just to connect and build relationship with people. The idea is, if people are inside of that group and they're engaging with this content and this information, it may move them a little bit further down the decision-making process where they say, hey, I know enough about this now, where yes, I want to go ahead and be part of the coaching program, where they can get access to video courses, they get access to my team for technical support and get help really being one of those 100 people that launched their video podcast this year. So that's the way that I'm going to be using Facebook groups for myself. I've had, good and bad experiences, when it comes to Facebook groups. But when I think about the ones that were more intentional for me, there was a very specific thing that I went inside that group for. And I felt confident that I can rely upon that group to go in there and to get that specific thing. And then I can go about my business and do what I need to do. So I'm kind of creating that as a place for people, as a holding tank almost. for people to get more understanding about what the challenge is about, what I'm offering, learn, ask questions, be able to build those relationships a little bit further. So that's one of the ways that I would recommend, if you're on the fence about if you should use Facebook groups or not, think about it being a place for you to further develop that relationship with people who might be interested in whatever it is that you're offering, a place to kind of gather people. Now, I also know for those of you who've had groups consistently, unlike me, that it can be a challenge to get people to be engaging and to be responsive and to post and answer your questions and all that stuff. And I think we just have to accept that's just human nature. That's just the way it is. If you want people to be able to be active in that group, then you need to be able to give them good reasons to make sure that you're adding good content to it. So that's going to be my approach with the Facebook group. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you real quick. There's a couple new features that I did not know was inside of Facebook. At least it wasn't there before when I was starting a group that I like now. So I'm going to just show you a couple of features that I like that kind of help shift my mind about using Facebook. So let me just remove these slides real quick. Share my screen, and I see some good comments here. So before I transition to that, exactly, Jojo Pie mentioned relationship development through Facebook groups make good sense, and that's the way that I'm seeing it too. I'm like, you know what? I can't expect everybody to jump onto this foreign platform right away. So giving people a place that they're comfortable, they know how to navigate. The Facebook groups is easy for people to invite a friend or a family member who they think might be interested into it. So I think it's a good place to kind of insert right there while people are at that point. But it makes sense to me to kind of use it in that way. So good to see that you agree. I also see that people like this time. So, okay, we have a couple people. Jojo Paz said this time works for me. Wendy said, I like this time. Awesome. Okay, cool. Hey, Michaela, welcome aboard. All right. So I want to just show you some features that I didn't know was in Facebook that's there now. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm just like, oh, this is cool. Like I can use this. Where are we? We are this tab, this tab, this tab. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen with you now. I'm going to just walk you through just a little stuff that stood out to me as like, okay, cool. I like that. So here is my video podcast challenge group. It's called Video Podcasting for Beginners. So I chose a general name in case somebody's on here looking for tips about how to start a video podcast. I used a very general name for my group. When people come inside the group, of course, they can navigate to different places. But some of the things that I saw on here that I didn't know Facebook added were pretty cool to me. So one of the things that I've been using recently is called guides. Now, I saw guides on Instagram and I was totally clueless on how you're supposed to use it. But actually using it here on Facebook helps me understand how it works on Instagram. So guides is one of those things that I'd recommend if you haven't used it, that you think about using it. It's a way to kind of create like a roadmap for people to follow and to kind of get people educated on whatever your group topic is. So in my case, I decided to create guides around some of the foundational things that people need for video podcasting. I have one guide here that's called Video Podcasting Equipment. I have one here called Software Suggestions, one for coaching services, and one for setting up your virtual studio. So when I want to add information to one of these guides, all I have to do is click inside the guide, and then I can create a post. So each of these individual posts ends up being a subtopic within that guide. And as you can look on the left here, it almost reminds me as if you were to set up like an online course. So you'll see on the left that people can go through. You can actually set this up so people can mark it as completed. So that's why you see the little done here. But people can say, yep, I've done this or I read that. So it almost has that educational component if you wanted to create like an educational type thing within your group where you can do that using guides. And that's what I decided to do. I thought that was pretty cool. The other thing that I believe was there already, but I've gotten a little bit more familiar with was this featured section. So the featured section is going to allow you to take specific posts that people you want to highlight. So when they come in, you'll see I have this one post that says read me first. This is always going to be pinned there. So anyone new to the group can click that and it says read me first. And it's going to give them general overview as to what this group is about. Give them some directions if they want to learn more about the coaching program. They can just click on that and they can go through and do that. So I think using it in this educational way to kind of guide people through and give them the information that I know is going to be important for them to participate in the challenge overall. I'm liking the fact that the guides and the featured posts and all that stuff are here too. There are some other things in here like membership questions. Those have been around for a while. I do like the way the group looks now. The navigation inside the group is better. But those are some of the features that I'm going to be using. You can create events within the group. So if I wanted to create an event, let's say a live event, I believe I did put one. I have one coming up tomorrow. So tomorrow is an introduction to video podcasting. This is actually available. It's going to be on YouTube too, so you can come back tomorrow and watch. But I'm going to give people a general overview about the whole thing, how it works, and all that good stuff. So those are just some of the features that stood out to me that added some extra value about using Facebook groups in 2022. I'd love to hear from you about, if this gave you a different perspective, or if you have other ideas that people might want to consider about how they use Facebook groups in 2022. Just go ahead and put them down in the comments below. So that's our episode. I will be back tomorrow. It won't be a TED Talk, but I'll be back tomorrow for anyone who's interested in joining the video podcast challenge, creating your own weekly show, building that habit of what it's like to make a live or recorded show that you can do every week. Been great for me to be able to build up leads and to be able to build up relationships with people. I'm getting to the point now where I'm almost at 500 subscribers. So when I get to 500 subscribers on YouTube, I'll get access to some of the community features that I can't wait to use and show some of those to you too, because it allows you to do some feed stuff on YouTube, which is pretty cool. So I think I'm probably about 28 people away. So if you know somebody, please go ahead and share and get them over to subscribe. Thank you very much for tuning in. Good topic. Awesome. Good to hear. Appreciate that. Appreciate your time. And I will be back tomorrow for that intro. And then next week, Tuesday, I'll do this later time again, unless I see otherwise in the comments. We'll do this later time and see how it goes. So thank you for tuning in for Tech Talk Tuesday. My name is Michael Damon. Go to wemergemedia.com if you'd like to learn more about me and what we do. All right. Take care.